Nigeria is an agrarian nation with more than 70% of its population engaged in agriculture, majorly at subsistence level. As the population of the country continues to grow at an estimated rate of 4% per annum, the demand for a corresponding increase in food production naturally becomes high. Nigeria relies on rain-fed agriculture for most of our food requirements, but over time, it has been proven that this practice cannot meet the nation's growing food demand. To ensure food sufficiency in Nigeria and restore its lost glory as a food exporting country, there is the urgent need to combine rain-fed agriculture and dry season farming. The prospect of dry season farming in Nigeria will be our focus tonight. But before then, let us have the latest happening in the ministry. Keep watching. In our diary tonight, Agri Minister launches 7 working documents to enhance agricultural production. Also in the news, Friesland Campina Wamco Nigeria PLC seeks collaboration for expansion in Nigeria. Details shortly. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar, recently launched 7 technical working documents of research findings conducted by International Crops Research Institute for the semi-arid tropics across the agricultural value chain in Nigeria. The 7 technical working documents on social-economic studies of the agricultural sector disclose the progress made so far in the agricultural sector.
Government is determined to...
Speaking during the launching in Abuja, the minister commended the stakeholders for the job well done and the progress made so far in the sector.
Our investment in agriculture is paying, and the country has become the largest producer of rice and sorghum in Africa, second largest producer of millet in Africa, and the first in cassava and yam production globally. However, more needs to be done. The potentials across crops, livestock, horticulture, and fisheries subsectors are enormous. Government is determined to fill the gaps and consolidate on the achievement recorded and focus on productivity enhancement, institutional alignment, and private sector investment. Expectations are to deploy innovation, improved varieties, and associated technologies, and support agribusiness undertakings in the country.
Also speaking, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ernest Afolabi Umahiye, appealed for continuous support of stakeholders in order to achieve the set objectives of diversifying the nation's economy and ensuring food sufficiency.
The expectation we have in agriculture to take Nigeria to the promised land could only be achieved when our research chiefs are adaptive, focused to solving our challenges and needs, and the entrepreneurs take deliberate action to invest in the different agricultural value chains. The ministry therefore requires your contribution and support towards delivery in the above priority areas. Only then we will be able to address the impact of the global health emergency and the high expectation of the present administration on the agricultural sector.
Also speaking, the team leader of the delegates from International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics, Dr. Hakim Ajaigbe, appreciated the support of the ministry and other stakeholders in the agricultural sector that have contributed to the findings.
ICRISAT is grateful for the continued support given to it by the Honorable Minister, Federal Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, the directors in the ministry, many of whom are present here today, our friends in the sorghum, millet, and groundnut and livestock value chain, and the fruitful partnership we enjoy with the NARIS, IAR, CDA, LCRI, NARLS, state ADPs, several NGOs, private sectors.
In an effort to address the needs of dairy products in Nigeria, Friesland Campina Wamco Nigeria PLC, the producer of pig milk and 3 Crown products, is seeking for more collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in the area of land acquisition and a safe environment to invest more in the dairy subsector in Nigeria. The delegates of the company made this appeal during a courtesy visit to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development in Abuja. Speaking on behalf of the Friesland Campina Wamco Nigeria PLC, the Global Director, Dairy Development and Milk Streams of the company, Joren Elfas, stated that greater success could be achieved if adequate attention is given to feed production in Nigeria. Joren added that his company is making efforts to train farmers on milk collection and also to build a center for dairy product development in Nigeria, which will ensure good breed of cattle for more milk production.
We're working in a partnership with the largest genetics company in the world called Urus. So we're setting up breeding centers. So genetics and good breed development for the longer term is essential. And that means that we're setting up breeding centers in the southwest as well, Middle Belt, this area as well as towards Jos Plateau. And we're doing that with several partners, as I said, based on a model that was used in Brazil.
Responding to the appeal made by the delegates, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar, appreciated the company for its resilience in Nigeria over the years, despite the challenges the country faces. The minister assured Friesland Campaign Awamco, Nigeria PLC of an enabling environment and total support to see a great transformation in the dairy subsector.
Milk is very important part of our diet. We all know calcium, we know about strong bones and all that stuff comes from milk, and without it there will be a lot of issues with our health. So number one, I would like to thank you for being in Nigeria all this long time and still being and even getting bigger in Nigeria instead of shrinking, even though with some of the challenges. Indeed, there are challenges currently facing Nigeria, and you talk about even climate change, you talk about security and all this, and the government is very much aware and doing everything humanly possible to address some of these challenges.
All what we did here is mechanized.
It's back to land, back to agriculture.
I can supply the milk factories for milk.
That's the new norm for employment and for wealth creation. Get your piece of the action.
Before farming, we will spread the manure.
There to take on agribusiness.
They have been working in terms of making sure they give us new breeds.
Seize the opportunity you have been waiting for. Watch Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, showing every Friday at 8:30 p.m. on the NTA network service.
Food shortage is equal to hunger, and one of the best ways to ensure availability of food is to increase production, and one of the best ways to boost food production is through dry season farming to ensure all year round production. What is dry season farming, and what is the government doing to ensure the practice of dry season farming in Nigeria? Answers to these questions will be our focus in our next segment, Records of the FDA. Sit back and watch.
Dry season farming is a farming practice that takes place after the cessation of rainfall or in areas that have low chance of rainfall, especially in the tropics and particularly in places most prone to desertification. Dry season farming is anchored on irrigation.
When we are talking of irrigation, actually, I mean artificial application of water. We have an areas where you have abundant rainy season, but an area where you don't have the rainy season, or rather in a season where there's no rain, like in our area in northern Nigeria here, our rainy season usually started from May, June, July, August up to September ending around Kano here, and then from October up to October to around March area, that is the dry season time where we do 100% irrigation. So at that time we apply water to our land to produce dry season farming.
In Nigeria, the period varies from one place to another depending on geopolitical location. In southern Nigeria, the dry season lasts for 5 months between November to March, while in the north, it lasts for 8 months from October to May.
In a situation where you have 12 months in a year, and 8 months of the year is dry, you have rainfall only in between. Effective rainfall is mainly between July and October, barely 3 months. In some states in the north, the effective growing period is less than 90 days. So you have less than 3 months of rainfall. So both the people and the lands are idle. The land is idle for 8 months. The people are also idle for 8 months. So we really need to augment, to at least try to see that the people will be able to cultivate even if it is for the half of the year.
The 8th month of dry season, if properly utilized, will bring a turnaround in food production in Nigeria. Interestingly, there are 2 dry seasons for farming of various crops in Nigeria: the cold and hot dry seasons. Coming from the knowledge of the place of dry season farming in boosting agricultural production, successive governments have made efforts in this direction by putting in place mechanisms for its actualization. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has made huge investments in the provision of inputs.
On dry season, actually, the ministry, or I should say the federal government, is looking at how we can now rehabilitate the irrigation infrastructure we have in the country, especially the dams, which have been largely underutilized over the years. The ministry is in discussion with the Ministry of Water Resources, and we are also going to engage the National Agricultural Development Agency, NALDA, so that we can see how we can work together around the river basins to clear more land using mechanization, so that this land could be made available to our farmers and the teeming youth population, so that we can have all-year cultivation of crops.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, has a policy of promoting all year-round food production. To achieve the objective of the policy, the ministry has been supportive in a number of ways.
It's very important because we have mentioned that 8 months of the year is dry in the north and 5 months in the south. And what it means is that if you can cultivate crops in those months, you'll be having multiple harvests. And of course, that signals food and nutritional security for the nation.
Another major stride of government in supporting dry season farming over the years is in the establishment of river basin development authorities across the country, which in turn has led to the harnessing of dams to boost irrigation. The government has made great efforts to meet the needs of farmers along this river basin authority.
Government has have enacted a policy on seeds, mandating the National Seeds Council to make sure that only genuinely certified seeds are available for the farmers to buy, so that farmers will not have to waste their money in buying poor seeds, which will ultimately affect the real at the end. The government is also making a giant stride in the field of extension. It has mandated the Ministry of Agriculture to employ more extension agents so that they will be able to reach each and every corner of the states and provide extension services to the farmers.
However, as at the last count, the nation has only about 400,000 farmers in 19 states engaging in dry season farming. This notwithstanding, there is a renewed impetus by the present administration to provide greater commitment and new ideas to make dry season farming thrive.
The ministry is supporting farmers with micro irrigation schemes. Large dams are under the purview of the Ministry of Water Resources, but micro irrigation, large dams, wash bowls, tube wells, the ministry is doing that. And water harvesting structures, the ministry is also doing that for farming clusters, so that we can encourage the farmers to work together. Then aside from the physical infrastructure that we are putting in place, we are also supporting them with farm inputs such as irrigation pumps and drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, as well as a host of others.
For us to get it right in all year round food production, a lot of efforts need to be put in place to encourage farmers to engage in dry season farming, same way they engage in the wet season farming. There lies a need for collaboration between the Ministry of Water Resources, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, and the extension workers in both private and public sectors. This is our focus in our next segment, Partnership for Development.
We'll try to avoid any chemical form of fertilizer or anything.
So from this place, what we learn here, that is what we put our various for.
I hope you are following the normal procedure of feeding.
We'll be fascinated seeing things moving.
There are certain basic requirements for successful dry season farming. For farmers to embrace the paradigm shift from only engaging in wet season farming and venture into the dry season farming, basic understanding is a necessity.
You need only tractor. You need a tractor, you need harrow, you need ridger, you need plow. Then after that one, if it is possible, since it is mechanization, even fertilizer application, you can use machine.
Irrigation is of utmost necessity in dry season farming since crops need water to grow. Collaboration between the River Basin Authority, farmers, and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is yielding good result. In the northern Nigeria, there are various types of irrigation for dry season farming.
Of course, for you to have dry season farming, you must have source of water. And presently, mostly is in the floodplains of rivers where the water table is high, so it's easy to put in tube wells or shallow wells to pump out water. Except where you have the developed irrigation schemes, such as CRIP, the Kano River Irrigation Scheme, Hadeja Valley, Bakura, and so on, where you have dams and canals that bring water. But otherwise, around the many parts of the north, you find dry season farmers mostly along the floodplains of rivers.
Farmers in the region have the opportunity to grow particularly rice in 3 cycles of planting seasons, the wet and the 2 dry seasons.
Farmers will have 2 cycles of rice, for example. They will plant rice as early as February, harvest it February, March, April. Around April they will harvest it. Immediately they will plant it again, May, June. So early July they will harvest it and then plant another one for the wet season.
Other crops grown during dry season farming are as varied as the exigencies are.
There are many things that determine what they grow, but I think mostly is the market dynamics. If you grow, it has to be something that you can sell and make profit, or at least recover your investment. If you take rice that you gave example of, many things determine which varieties farmers grow. The yield is an important thing, but sometimes it's not only the yield, but also market acceptability of the final produce. How much does it fetch in market and so on.
Land preparation for dry season farming in the north is still very much a traditional thing, either manually with hoe for harrowing and ridging.
We use local way of cutting the rice, local way of beating the rice to thresh it. We use local women to winnow it. So the mechanization aspect is nowhere as of now. But the Honorable Minister is doing his best to make the mechanization aspect stick in the agricultural production.
That notwithstanding, there is a huge dry season production of vegetables and rice going on in the region, especially in the irrigable lands of the Hadeja-Jumare River Basin of Kano, Jigawa, and Bauchi states.
There is what we call the Agricultural Performance Survey. The Agricultural Performance Survey is an annual activity conducted by NALS. NALS is National Agricultural Extension Research Realization Services. It's in Ahmed Bello University, Delhi. So they are responsible for conducting this survey in collaboration, funded of course by Federal Ministry of Agriculture. If you look at what they are reporting as output, for example, in last 2020, if I can remember very well, I think the output they reported as far as rice is concerned is about 7 million metric ton. I can assure you, Hadere Jamaari is contributing almost 20% of that 7 million metric ton.
Rain-fed agriculture and dry season farm will ensure an all-year-round farming activity, thereby leading to an uninterrupted chain of food production and other benefits.
If you look at our population trend in Nigeria, looking at how we were a few years ago, at independence we were maybe about 40 million people. Now we are more than 210 million people. That is more than 5 times the population. And even though we have increased our production, total production, is mostly by cutting more land into production, bringing more land into production. So we are reaching a point where there will be no more land to expand to, and we cannot only rely on rainy season farming. If we must feed ourselves, we have to produce more from the same land. And to do that, apart from getting more yield per unit area in every cycle of production, we also need to have more cycles of production. So if we can produce 2-3 times in a year on the same land, then and sustainably, then it is important to do that to meet the food deficit.
Young farmers that are into dry season farming have expressed their gratitude for the impact the authority has made on their lives. Let us hear from them in our next segment, Farmers Speak.
I'm grateful to God. Through dry season farming, I have been able to meet all my needs. I am currently dependent on farming to feed my family and take care of them.
I am grateful to God. Dry season farming has given me everything I need. I have gained so much through farming. I am proud to be a farmer.
Onions are botanically part of the liliaceous family along with garlic, shallots, and leeks. Onions form the basis of a wide variety of dishes, whether eaten raw, sauteed, baked, steamed, or boiled. There are different varieties of onions. These include the red, white, and yellow onions. Onions offers excellent health benefits. Studies suggest that eating onions may help reduce the risk of heart disease by lowering blood pressure, managing cholesterol levels, and reducing inflammation. When onion is consumed regularly and in sufficient quantity, these compounds may help protect against chronic health conditions such as cancer, diabetes, and improve bone density. Worldwide annual production of onions stands at over 93 million tons. China is the largest onion producer in the world with about 24 million tons production volume per year. India comes second with 19.5 million tons yearly. Nigeria, as one of the largest producers of onions in the world, producing over 2 million tons annually. Although many farmers are involved in the cultivation of red onions, there is still a shortfall in meeting the demand for onions in the Nigerian market, especially during the rainy season. According to Onion Producers and Marketers Association of Nigeria, Upman, Nigeria can generate up to 151 billion naira annually from onion in the country, maximized its full potentials in onion production. Onions can be grown almost anywhere in Nigeria. However, to maximize the market potential of onions, especially during the rainy season, there is need to invest in a few things. One of such is irrigation.
This is where we end this episode of the program. The truth is that Nigeria has huge potentials for dry season farming. This translates into more food production, employment opportunities for more Nigerians, and even a solution to youth restiveness. It is truly the way to go in achieving food sufficiency. Until I come your way again, stay safe.